Yeah, stop and start, right? I'm start. So this is running now, and I reload this page. You can see that I get all the requests, right?
I know this, but
So no, the five econ.ico is something that the browser will always try to pull to show the icon here, right? And you can see that I get also the slash URL. So if I actually type this here, for example, about, and I hit enter, I'm gonna get about.
Excuse me, why did you write console.log?
Yeah, I'm gonna show what is the URL.
Okay.
I want to show the URL of my request.
Okay.
So you can see I'm doing request.url. And the URL, I get URL that you are typing. So if you type test here and you hit enter, I get test.
because the request is the
Browser.
report that we
Yeah.
looking on.
So now what can I do here? So if I know those stuff, I can actually route. I can write a router, right? So maybe a page and a specific URL, I can get all the contact list. So let's write that together. Okay. So if you go back to my slide, I wanna.
You mean you achieved to the directory, yes, like this?
Yes, I wanna show you this.
Okay.
So week 4 starts now. So we are now half week behind. Yeah, REST API. So this is actually what we're gonna do. So architectural style called REST. You are gonna hear a lot about REST API. Usually when we talk API, we think about REST. Not all the case, but mainly like that. And the REST is a representational state transfer. Advocates that web applications should use HTTP as it was originally envisioned. This is important because there is a lot of you can misuse the protocol. Lookups should use GET request, put, post, and delete. Requests should be used for mutation, creation, and deletion, respectively. So when we talk HTTP, we need to understand HTTP verbs. This is a new thing, HTTP verbs. So when I get a website, you perform a get. When you retrieve a website, you do a get.
Yeah.
When you have a form and you want to send something to the, let's say you have a sign up form,
Yes.
you use a post. When you have data that you want to change, let's say some information, let's say your image on Facebook or whatever, use a put to replace. And then if you want to delete something, use the delete verb.
Yes.
So this is one fundamental concept of the REST API. You need to use the verbs correctly. If you want to delete, you're going to use delete verb. Now, there's an issue with the browser. There's an issue. The browser is not designed to perform all those requests, but the URL bar here, this URL bar, can only do a get. You can do a post from the URL bar. So we're going to install another tool for play with put, post, and delete. But before we do that, let's talk about how to structure the API in a REST API. So you see we have HTTP verbs. We have HTTP verbs here. This is what it does, and that's an example. So this is one of the slides that you should always keep in your head. Okay, so get, retrieve a resource or a set of resources. Let's say we have an example of cars. So get cars will get all the cars. Get cars 122 will get the cars with the ID 122. patch will edit. You can use patch or put. I think patch you just give what is missing to the object, where put you need to replace the entire object. So edit an existing resource. So patch cars 122, it will change the gears to the cars with the ID 122. We'll set gears 5. Post, it will create a new resource. So let's say when you sign up, or you let's say you're on a form and you want to create let's say a new post on Instagram, you create a new post, you use post, create a new resource. So let's say post cars. So you can see that the URL, it doesn't really change, right? Because cars and cars. But get cars will get all the cars. Post cars will take a body and will add a car. And delete will delete the cars with an ID 22. So you can see that both in this case, and in this one, I'm using cars 122. So the URL doesn't really change.
What is that 122?
It's just an ID, a random ID.
But that ID should be inside of the object, or
no. When I create a car,
yeah,
the ID will automatically generate and assigned to this car.
So how do you know what is the name of that ID or the number of that?
It will
ID?
come back to you when you create yeah, it's auto-generated. So when you create a new, let's say car, you will get an ID back.
Okay.
So this is how you structure correctly your REST API. You need to use the verbs correctly, and they need to match the meaning of the verb. So I will never do, this is very common. Use get, and then you have a URL that say, instead of cars, it will be create cars, but with a get. That's wrong.
It works, but it doesn't.
You can do it, right? But it doesn't make sense. You need to make it precisely. You need to use your verbs correctly. Okay. Okay. Before we jump into Express, so now I can do the console.log. So that's also, the verb is also called method. Sometimes you see method or verb. If you read the specification, they usually call it verb. But if you read the technical, if you talk with technical to the developers, they call it method. So I'm gonna call it method now. So I will say here URL and method. So now I'm reading the method for the request coming to this server.
Okay, just give us time to write it.
And I'm also doing this. Actually, I'm gonna do this. So I'll create a new line. Or if you can write also more compact like this, if you want to, you can put everything in a line. It's the same.
Okay.
So if I stop and start, and I hit now again my server here, you can see I get sorry, I'm gonna remove that. So if I hit that, I get, you see, URL is gonna be test and the method is get. You see? I put everything in one line, it's the same. And URL is 5icon.ico and the method is get. So you see, I can perform only a get here. So if I go about and I hit enter, I get about.
I didn't get any.
But definitely, I mean, there is a problem with because every time we terminal question when the file is executed. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
You are doing rec.url, not res. Request. Request, not response. Okay, that's good.
But it didn't work. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
after 10 minutes.
Okay. So now you can see the URL and the method of that specific request.
Oh, just a
Method,
second.
yeah.
If I write something here.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, I'm requesting from here.
Yeah. You're requesting from there, and then you are reading the request there, both the method,
Okay.
get, and the URL. You agree?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
And that get method. Get method, you see. Okay.
Okay. So now you are asking me, okay, why are we doing this? Why you want to show the URL and the method? Because now with both URL and the method, I can write a router. Because if I know the method and I know the URL, then I can write a router that will say, okay, for this particular combination of the URL and method, go and perform this action. You agree with me? And then if I say, if you do post cars, then you do this action. If you give me my secret page, then you go and perform this action. So now I can write a router. I'm gonna do this. I think it's a bit more convenient. So I can say, I'm gonna call it path, and path is gonna be. Actually, I will say route. Yeah, route is gonna be rec.url method. The rec.method plus space rec.url. I'm putting everything in one string. Okay. Now if I console log this, route, and I stop and start, I should be able to get in one string, you can see I get this. So let's say that for get about, so now I can have a switch case. In a switch case I can put route, and the case is gonna be my combination. So this is my router, right? So if my route is get about, I want to serve an about page. So I'm gonna take this and say about page, and this will be about HTML.
Get up.
So I'm gonna create an about HTML page, and I will say this is my about. So I create an about HTML page in my dist folder, and I'm gonna write about me, and just to be consistent, I'm gonna copy it from here, and then I just switch here. Okay, so I've wrote an about me page. Okay, I'm gonna use, for my name, I'm gonna use bold. So when I get about, what I want to do here, I want to do response write header 200. Content type, I'm gonna send my about page here, right? So this is an HTML, so this is gonna be text.
Okay. I feel you.
So for this particular combination, get and about, I want to send an HTML page. And this is pretty much what we did before. We are taking an about HTML page, call it about page, and send it here, right?
So text HTML.
Okay. Now we're gonna have another case when there is no, this is my index page, right?
Like this. You don't have index page.
So when I hit, when I have nothing here, I'm gonna hit my index page. And on my index page, which is here, I wanna say index page. And since I'm here, I'm gonna write navigation as well. And the navigation, I'm gonna put an anchor link. Okay. Good. So I have now two pages. One is index page and one is an about page. Those two particular routes are gonna send HTML. Then I'm gonna add other routes here, which I'm gonna call case get API contacts. Where here you can get all my contact list. So on this particular URL, you're gonna get all my contact list, and I'm gonna import the contact list.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Good. For now, this is empty. This is to do. So let's see if this works, okay? So I stop and start the server. So if I hit this page, oh, this is my index page. Oh, that's nice. What about I go here? About HTML, no, that's wrong. Oh, I did something wrong. This should be just about. My bad. So this is index page. Yeah, I click here. About me. That's nice. If I go back, index page. That's good.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice, right? So and I can take this navigation to my about page, put it here, and this is can navigate back to index page.
So actually, you can make a hidden page in your website, and for
Yes.
example, if you can give exactly that link to some
Exactly.
person.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe that's actually a good exercise. I'll think about it. Okay, so you see now I have this particular route. What about I want to have an API for contacts? I want to have actually, want to type here and say, well, I want to have API, and then, sorry, that contacts, And then you can hit and get my contact list. That would be nice, right? So you can see my contact list live.
In a JSON format.
In a JSON format. So you see my server is both doing API stuff in a JSON format, but it's also doing HTML. It's also serving HTML. So this is kind of both HTML and JSON. So what about I can import my contact list, right? Oh, I don't have the contact list in my source anymore. Oh, because I'm in another project. No, I'm in another project.
With the last one before you create.
Yeah. Where is it? Was called my project or something like that?
I think it was. No.
What's my new ES6 project?
Just a second.
I'll try to send it on Slack.
No, I think I have it here. What's this one? Found it. It's all good. Then I can. Okay. Now I'm gonna add contact list to this project. Okay. So I have contact list. So I import contact list here. Okay. So my contact list is new contact list, right? I'm gonna add a couple of contacts, and this was name and phone, right? Okay. Just gonna add another one more.
Is it your real number?
Yes. So you can stress me out. No. And let's say this is it's not 89, it's 77. Yeah. Okay, good. 88 is not. It's not 88. It's 77. So I added those two contact lists. Now I can get the contact list. This API. So let's go back to our sheet here. So when I do get this will be contacts for us, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Would be API contacts, okay? Yeah. So when I get contacts, then I'm gonna get all the contacts. Okay? So contacts, you can see this is called resource. Contacts is called resource. As a technical term, it's a resource, and usually it's plural. Okay? So what can I do here? I can say all contacts. Get list.
Yes.
Okay, so now I can do rest write.
Why you need to make a new contact const? Why you don't just refer to the?
Yeah, I could do that. I could do my contact list or get list inside, but
just my contact list.
No, my contact list. My contact list is a contact list object. This is not an array. This is an instance of this class. It's not type array. You see, it's typed contact list.
Okay.
Remember that.
Yes.
Forget you need to do get list to get the contacts in the contact list. Yeah. Okay. So now I can do this, right? I can copy this stuff. I can say this application JSON. You agree with me? And I can do all contacts here.
Okay.
Is that simple, right?
Yeah. It's not simple, but
It's not happening much, right? You're taking the all the contacts from the contact list. You're setting the header correctly because you want to do you're saying you want to send a JSON file, and then you are sending all contacts. Let's see if this is gonna do something for me, which I don't know, but I'm curious. Okay, so back to this. Index page works. I go to about and I go about me. I go back to index, works. Now if I do API, contacts. Oops. API contacts.
I think you have to run. There is an error.
There is an error. Yeah, you see, there is when I hit this.
Yeah.
There was an error. Throw new error involve archetype chunk. I think I need to stringify this. Don't know.
Oh yeah, because you were sending the
yeah, but you want to send text,
yeah,
so you need to transform it into text. So I had to stringify. That's I thought Andy was gonna do that for me, but no, you need to do it yourself. Okay, so you see now on API contacts, I get all my contacts. So what about I want to add a contact? Post. Put on patches for modify. So if we go back to our slides, you always keep this in your head. Always this.
Get, put,
post, create a new resource, right? What is our resource? It's a contact, right? So create a new contact is gonna be post contact. We have a prefix API to say that those are all API. We're gonna box them.
But you're not editing an existing resource that is contact. You're just adding in the same resource.
Yeah.
So you're editing it.
No.
You're not creating a new
contact list. No, but our resource is contacts, not contact list. You can see, in fact, the name is contacts. Here I say contacts. So the resource is a contact. So new contact is gonna be put API contacts. So this. So here what I need to do.
So put is right.
Post. Sorry.
Post. Okay.
Post. So my new contact is gonna be my contact list dot add, and then I'm gonna receive an object. We don't know how to do that yet, so I'm gonna just do this and return the contact list. Okay. Let's see how we can fire a post, because we know how to fire a get, but we don't know how to fire a post. And this is one way. This is a tool that will allow you to fire a post. Now you can install it, and you will install it in a second. Just let me show you this first, and then I give you half an hour to replicate what I did here. Okay, native app, download, Claudia.
The format is very cool, man. So clear, no much detail. I like this kind of website. It's really good making.
So open the Google. It's very simple.
I mean, so clean.
Okay. Let me see.
You know, the first day I opened the GitHub, I looked like that. I said, "Wow, it's very simple."
Oh yeah.
Come on, what else?
Simple in terms of not easy to make. Simple that there's not too much details and clean. That's what means.
I got that.
Okay, Postman. So I open Postman. Open. Okay. So now here I can do a request. And you can actually save the request. So this is actually cool because if you do testing, this is gonna help you. You can write a bunch of requests and save them, so you don't have to write them again. So request name, I will say post a new contact, right? And collection, I will say contact list. Why is this contact list? Okay. So so here I can select post. I can put my address. So you can see I'm doing a post on API contacts.
Okay. Okay.
So it's working, right? You can see now that if I let's console log something here first of all. Contact added. Okay. Start it again. So now when I hit this, I should have this in my console log. If I do send,
I think
you see? Contact added. And it doesn't have all contacts, that's why it's failing, because I need to add this line here.
So if we know the IP of the website, we can send something there.
What? 1 second. What the...
Get list is not a get.
Why can I do that? What will you change there? What?
It's add, isn't it?
Oh, it's a. It's just. No, it's just because the name is the same. I think it's complaining about. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So if I do this, all context is not defined. Well, it is. It's here. Okay, let's just send something for now. Let's say test here. Say text, text HTML. Just text. You can just send text. This is now an example. Then I'm gonna finish it off. Why it's complaining? Ah. Sure. Okay, so I send this and I get test back. So you can see I'm hitting this particular route. Post API contacts. So now here I need to actually read the content. So if you go on body and select row and JSON, you can actually send JSON now. So if I do this,
You already had Marco.
yeah, let's do
Proud of himself.
Marco 2.
Maria.
let's do
That's the
Maria.
common name.
Yes, let's do Maria, and then let's say phone, and finish this one. Okay,
Expensive telephone number.
exactly. So now I can send this to this.
Yeah.
So now I can send. You can see with the post I can send data
Yeah.
to the server. Now you ask me how we get those data, right? And then you get is press dot Dun, 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 dun. Well, first of all, it's not REST, but it's rec. And to be so remember that we are always inside this, you see? So we always have access to request. So in the same way you remember that we had this console log here, we could do request.method request.url. We can also request something like body. Let me node http request body JSON. I don't remember how to do that.
Quest on body.
No, on data. I think it's this. Okay. Okay, let's print the chunk. I can see someone is using my server. I see this moving. I see the request coming. Okay. So if I send this now,
You haven't started.
good. So if I send this and I go back, you see? I can now send from Postman back to the server. So that's basically the entire. This is basically the entire knowledge are here. Now it's about gluing things.
Actually, it looks like the sign up form, you know.
Yeah,
because
this
they
is
write their name. Or
exactly.
their-
So imagine you are doing a sign up. What would you do? It's a
I
good.
will use the post.
Yeah.
Exactly this.
Yeah, exactly. Case post. This
Yeah.
we call it sign up, right? Or whatever. This will be your API, and then what will you do? Will you get the data with the this, and check the password is correct, exists, and throw all the errors and blah blah blah. Let's say that. Yeah, exactly. So let's say, so the default now. I need to remove this. So the default, what will be? If we don't find the route, what we should do?
What?
If we go on a website and you try to put a URL and the URL doesn't exist, what happens?
Error.
Yes, exactly, error. And in HTTP word, what's that error?
404.
4 and 4, yeah.
So if I don't find the route, it's gonna be 404. Let's create a page for that. Let's call text HTML. Let's create an error page. Okay. So basically what I'm saying, if you cannot find any of those routes, 1, 2, 3, or 4, the default is gonna be a 404, and I'm gonna also send
Log.
the error page.
So actually, we can design our error page as well.
Of course you can.
because most of the time.
So if I do now, and it's really good. Usually, oops, it's really good. Have your error page because you can recover the user. If you're on the error page, you can say, "Oh, it got lost. Maybe you want to do this." You know, you can give a suggestion and re-catch the user, so he has a better experience, right? That's a good experience. Okay, so I add the error page. I name it error, so that's good. I'm gonna do garbage here, and now I say, "Oh, it doesn't exist. Got lost." And then I have the menu here, so I can click and go back to the about page. So I can catch all the different scenarios. If it doesn't match my URL, I'm gonna just throw an error page there, and I can be funny with my error page. So I coded with you now for a while. I think it's good that we stop here. And after we do this, then we're gonna trash this, all of it, and redo it with Express. So now we are using just Node. We have no dependency now. We're just the core modules. It's a good learning, but if you want to do more complex stuff, Express is gonna help you with that. Therefore, we're gonna stop here, and then next week we're gonna take Express and redo all of this in Express. It's gonna be super quick. Redoing it with a framework instead of just start from scratch like we did here.
We get better with every class.
The write head method.
Yes.
The same like the write file sync method.
Yeah. So the write head, it will write the header in the HTTP response. So if you go here and I write this, if you check my network, I get you see the status here? It's 404. And that's correct.
Okay.
Not a document.
Yeah. So I get the correct 404 error with a custom HTML page. That's what I want to achieve, right?
So if you instead write application JSON on the
You can try to break it and say, okay, application JSON, even if you are sending HTML, because you see this is referring to an HTML page.
Yeah.
If you do that, the browser will say, I can't parse this, and it will just show you the what is inside the HTML. You see, it's showing me, instead of render the page, it will just show the text, because it said, oh well, you didn't tell me that this is an HTML page, so I'm not going to render the HTML and show you the rendered version of HTML. You just see the content of that file.
Well, can we find there on the browser the request that we have made on the code?
So if you go on the network tab and you see the request, you see that you're saying application JSON, and that's why it's not even trying to render this.
What I'm saying is the sources.
So the sources, this is the request header. And the request header, you accept anything.
Like if I have to see your pages, and I want to check out. You made this mistake, and I want to check out this page from the browser.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Any possibility to make it?
Yes, you can. So you are saying this. Say this is worked correctly. If you go here and write source code, view source, then you can check the source of that page. So if I move to the index, you can see the source of the index page. So in Chrome, you just go on developer. So view developer, and then you go view source. This one, the first, and then you can see the source of the file.
You can edit it.
No, you cannot edit it because but you can
Just
copy it and you can copy it. So if you want to see, let's say google.com, you can go to google.com. Let's say google.com, then you can say the source code of this. So source code, then it would that's the source code of Google.com. Right?
Okay.
Only the index.
Yeah. Yeah, and remember that this is gonna point to other files.
Yeah.
So if I copy this and run to my machine, it will say, oh, I cannot file index.js file and blah, because some files that is this file downloads that you don't have it. If you know if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
This is not that website is not just one resource; it's many resources. You need to download them as well for run it on your machine, which you don't have. Okay. I think we should stop here. We have half an hour. Try to replicate what I did.
Please share the video that you recorded today as soon as possible, because huh?
No, I started. No, I did.
Oh, bad joke. Oh my god. What's going on?
Okay, so try to make. Let's do this in class together. We have half an hour now. Try to make a few pages. Try to make a router like me. Forget about the API. Try to make a router that have like an index page, an about page, and a, let's say, project page. Think about you are building your own online CV or something like that.
We do an index and about
Yeah.
and another page, yeah?
Yeah, it's really, really simple. You need a switch case. Remember to do this. I can send you this, but then it became too easy, right? I can do that, but it's too easy if I send this to you.
Well, I mean, it's
But,
easy to make it.
But I will do it.
We can make it. I mean, we can try to make it at least.
Yeah, you can try to make it. Then I'll share it a little bit later.
Yeah, let's do that. Otherwise, we don't learn anything, you know.
So you have everything till here, I guess. You have the create server, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to create this route that you're going to use in your switch. Then I will be around and create 3 pages is in the dist folder. Let's say index, error, project, and about. So let's say 4 pages. 4 pages. While I take some coffee.
He said we don't have to make the pot.
And while I take coffee as well. Sorry, what did you say?
He said we don't have to make the post method, only the get, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many page he said to make? 3 page. What was the third one? Index, about, and
Yeah.
error.
Yeah.
Error.
Yeah.
Arrow,
About an index.
index.
About index and error. What is the coffee?
That's not coffee.
The next class is the last week.
Yes. But I think like now we are a bit more aligned because so if next week we start with Express, we can finish.
we checked on the Slack channel. They didn't share the video, so.
Okay,
if you
then
have
I'm
time,
yeah,
so you
then
can do that.
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
So we don't need the JSON application, yeah?
No, error. You send an error page, and then you have a 404 as a status code and content type text HTML.
Yeah, but
No, you don't need
the
that.
contact is,
No.
we don't need it anymore. So that. Okay.
Can you share the code because you are working on your laptop?
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna put this on Slack.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
This is JavaScript JSON.
close that you have here.
I don't know how to stop the terminal from the last.
Control C.
Okay, thank you, man.
No problem.
Allora, oh.
It goes there.
It's not directory. Is it something inside this text? Endpoint, such endpoint, C, dist,
Index HTML.
So, do you have?
Oh,
Okay,
oh, I
it
have
works.
to copy them.
Okay.
Mm. Could be this. Forgot another one.
Every time if I made change in my
Yeah, you need to
root,
stop
I
us-
have to
stop
npm
and start, yeah.
again.
Oh, but
Yep.
you know, it works completely. Okay, but I want to know what is this?
What's your question?
What is this part?
So the console is just outputting this in the terminal, right? There, the second line is easy, right? Inspect, and then
What are the listening?
this line is it, right?
Yes.
12, line number 12, right?
I don't, you know, the console is doesn't important, but this part is important.
Okay, this
What
is the one that, see, you are deciding route, which route you are. Can you tell me which route you are? You are at about page, right?
Yes,
So if it's about page, then you want to display about page.
yes,
If you are in error page, then you want to display error page.
yes, you
And
are.
how do you decide this, where it is? So you are forming what is route is. So you are checking what is the method and what is the URL. So if it's a get method, get, and then URL, if it's a about page, if it's a error page or anything.
Okay.
So now you form this as a text.
Yes.
And this text you are comparing. Okay, switch. Switch is like an if-else condition, right?
Okay.
So if route is equal get, then you do this. There's nothing.
I got it.
If
Now I
it's
got it. Okay.
about, then you do this action. If it's nothing, then you do this thing.
Okay. Okay, I
It's,
got
it's
it.
like an if-else condition. You can replace the switch
Oh no,
with
hold on,
if-else.
go back. Let me see. Go to.
Now I got it. But we don't actually need this part.
No. Console is always for debugging issues. Like if you want to debug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see
Yes.
the about HTML. No, no, the index HTML. Okay, yeah, that's what that's not. So you have to break it every time.
So this is the HTTP.
This HTTP?
This HTTP tool
Okay.
help you
Okay.
to run the server, right?
Okay.
And server means like you can access your website like a website address, like some port number, and then you get the web page,
Yes.
and this making it possible for you. So now your application is available
What did you
by the HTTP server. This creating a creating a server, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
when
but
created,
what?
then it is a function that it has two parameters: request and response. So you request something and then you get response back.
Okay.
Yeah.
As Marco mentioned, the server is always giving you a response back
Yes.
when you request something,
Yeah.
right?
It doesn't-
Yeah.
So you are requesting what? You are requesting, let's say, about page.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you are deciding what I'm requesting. How do you know you're requesting about page or error page or any other page?
Yeah.
So you need to compare them. You need to check them.
Yes.
So you are checking here. What is my route? Route here. Route is like is it like a get? Is it like a get about page? Is it a get error page? Then I do this action.
And you know, I never seen the. I don't know why it should be here. This part.
This part, if you want to ignore this one,
Yeah.
then you should do that.
Go up.
Just it's like that.
Okay. So if you want to ignore that, then you have to remove the space here as well. Like that.
What will happen? If
It will work, but it's fine. Yeah.
it works.
You need to copy paste and run again, right? And
The NPM is working.
yeah, you need to copy paste manually to distribution folder, right?
What do
You need to stop the NPM start,
Sorry?
and then copy
it. No,
paste
no.
That should be the error.
again
Is it very
this
good?
file.
Let me see if it works.
It's not going.
If it works, I don't care about you.
What?
Let me see if it
This
works.
is the source file, right?
Yes.
And source file you need to copy from here to there.
We don't need it.
It's working automatic.
It's working.
Then
Just
work
if
anyway,
you
yeah.
write np
And
and
start.
start.
Let's see.
I don't see
It works.
If it's still working, then see
Yeah.
it is working
Oh
with
my
the
God.
space.
You know what? Because when you do it, it will make it here.
Yeah, okay, that's
You
fine.
can check it.
Yeah, it is checking now. So let's see if it's working now.
Yes. it
Then
works.
you will be confident that the space is not needed.
Yeah. It works.
So space is just for you if you want to make it readable, if you want to see it different way.
And do you know what is this error? Because
That's okay. But let me see why.
because he didn't have this error
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his job.
Look.
You know what?
It's not error, right? It's some information.
Missing.
Where is it missing now?
Mm.
Missing global variable name.
Say that.
Is that the bot page?
I think these are the warning. You can
Yeah.
ignore them. There's some warning you can. Does it make sense now?
Yes. I understand it a little bit more. And now what we need to have a plus here.
Plus like concatenation, because if you want to see what is the method name,
Yes.
is it a get, post,
Yes.
from how do you get it? You get it from request and the method. And if you see
I
the
got it.
URL,
Yes, I got it. You are right. Sorry.
yeah, so then you need concatenation,
Yes.
to add them.
Yes, you are right. You are right. But why we don't need to use for error?
Yeah, you have
Because
to-
error is the default.
Yeah, if don't match any of those, it's gonna run default.
Yeah. If nothing matching, if you write A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, then the default will execute.
So why we need to make a error page?
Okay, because this one error page is you're referring here. This is a variable, right?
Yes.
And you are referring this error page here.
Yes.
So otherwise, how do you use error page
You
here?
see, you go there.
Yeah.
So basically, if you go to the browser, so if you write instead of about,
Okay.
instead of about, you write something, right? Oh,
Okay.
sorry, can you escape it? And then in the end, so you write something, right?
Okay.
And if you hit enter,
Yeah.
then this text, does it match with any case?
Yeah.
Does it match with here? Anything?
Yes, you're right.
Why it matching? Can you tell me again? I'm asking the question like
Yes.
this.
It doesn't match. Yeah.
Let's say X, Y, Z, right?
Okay.
This
It
is the
doesn't
route,
match.
right?
Yeah. We don't have this.
We don't have it, right?
Yeah.
And the switch is the default
No,
statement is
I
like
don't see- I
if
don't
nothing
see-
catching,
Oh yes, you are.
then this will execute default
Yes,
one.
yeah.
Push on
So
the
default one.
link, I
So
don't know
if
why.
this does not exist, then what do you want to show to the world?
Error page.
Error page
Yeah.
instead of showing nothing, right?
Yes.
If you
So I don't need
go
to have
website
the
and write
HTML
something and
on-
it's not give showing
on
anything to
the
you,
width,
just a
on the
white
source,
page,
only
then
on
you'll be
this.
annoyed.
Yes.
You said, okay, what kind
Yeah.
of bullshit?
Yeah, because we are not my rollup configuration is not copying the files from source to dist, so you put directly into dist.
You're right.
So now you're conveying the message. If it's not exist,
In the
you're
source
telling
goes
the
only the
user
JavaScript that needs to
there's
run
an error page,
through
that this page is
rollup. Only the JavaScript.
and then
Images
you
and
check the
other stuff
pages
they
here,
go into the
main
dist.
page, about page, error page, and then you're using it.
Yeah.
If it didn't answer your question, again ask.
No,
ask
I
again.
got your meaning, but most of the websites that we get the error is 404, you know.
Yeah, you can say that it's not an error page. You can say not found.
Okay.
So it's up to you what you want to call
Okay.
it. You can call it the page not found
Okay.
.html and then call the variable page not found instead of error page. I think I agree with you. Sometimes the error is like, okay, something wrong happened.
Yeah.
But this is not wrong. It's not
Yeah.
found, right?
Yes,
So you can rename it to a different thing if you want.
So whenever we want to add a new page or add a new things to a website, we have to make these kind of things. Yes. We have to add.
This is one way. If you see other, there's a lot of framework that will help with you
Well,
with
if
this
you,
thing.
if you save
Like you
and
show
you
the
do
Express
npm,
next class,
npm
there
start,
you need to have
you will
this
not save it on the disk.
structure.
Oh,
It's
it will not
made
work.
automatic for you.
Oh.
It will keep you
So this is the basic foundation. If you learn
chain
how
that
this
you
is
have made
working,
on source.
Yeah.
and the engine
Yeah.
will prepare you,
So,
then you
but
will know
in the
how
source
to
there
use
goes
it.
only the JavaScript file that
There's
runs.
nothing problem, you
Yeah,
can
understood.
fix them.
But,
You can find
but
that
if
what
I
is
do,
the
if I
problem.
do, if I do,
You don't need to create in the source. You just create in the
okay,
dist.
okay, I got it.
Sorry, one more question. And what is this? Can you explain?
Content type.
Yes.
It is because whenever you open a file
Yeah.
in browser,
Yeah.
the browser would like to know what kind of content it is. So there are multiple types. One is a text / HTML,
Yeah.
JSON file, PDF file, video, audio. You can. So you request something to server, right?
Yeah.
And server give you a response back,
Yeah.
and server will tell you what type of information it is providing you,
Yes.
right?
Here we go, here we go.
Like if I give you something, then I tell you it is a
Here we
liquid,
go,
it is
about
a
to get
solid
lost
thing,
as
it is
well.
hot, it is warm, something like that. It gives the adjective,
What is that?
right? So now the server giving
Okay,
you
so we
something
have a
back,
problem on the
and
end.
also telling
You
you
got
what
it?
kind of information
No,
it
you
is.
don't.
Okay.
It's a text file. It's a thing, and it is
About
it helps in
yeah.
many ways.
What was the
For
problem?
instance,
Sorry?
What was the problem?
if you want to
There was an
secure
error
your
page, for the error
site
page,
that you cannot download
There was an
video,
error page.
Yeah.
right? You want to secure it.
Yeah.
So
Because
if
he give you
server is
the-
saying,
the-
okay,
the
I'm
stuff.
sending you
What?
text and HTML, I cannot send video. So
Yeah.
then you can filter this. You can
I don't know.
I got
restriction.
it. I got
So
it.
content type is a,
Okay,
is
it's
a,
something.
it's a parameter of object. Like
Yeah.
if I send
an
you
error,
a
right?
letter to your
Is it
home,
error page, isn't it?
right?
Yes.
What
On
should I
refresh it?
fill the information,
The address.
address and
No,
what?
I click on
The
this.
post.
And inside if
It's another error.
if
What?
if something should have mentioned what is
Another
it?
error.
Yeah.
Why?
It's not important, right?
No, no.
But
Ah,
if
no,
she's
it's
a
not.
parcel,
It should- it should-
then
it should-
it
it
is
should-
important that
yeah.
what
Sorry?
kind of
It should
important
be
it is,
mentioned.
Yes.
what is the price?
Yeah.
Because
But
then
when
the
I
tax
push,
company
you know,
can
look,
charge
it
you.
gave us about. So
Yes,
About this is
If
my
it's
$10,
then Danish government will
No,
charge you, right?
no,
If it's a
no,
$100, then they will charge
no.
you. So this is the information that
Okay.
header is.
I will find
it is providing me.
It's alright.
I'm sending
on my
text
caption
on my
there.
other page,
HTML.
If
I'm
I-
providing JSON, I'm providing
this
video,
is
I'm providing
it's
PDF,
okay.
I'm providing
But
something
click
else.
on the link.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then you can put
And
rules.
it's an object, yes?
Yes. You can send more information.
Yeah. Yes, exactly what I was thinking
Yeah.
like that.
And defaults, the other thing get default information if you don't send that.
You know, I don't get this.
Thank you.
I don't get why it doesn't give go to the about HTML.
Did you spell it correctly, the URL?
Yeah, because when we push on the about link, it gave us get about. So the index it's running right, but it give us the HTML, the error HTML page.
Okay.
Yeah, it's matching in your switch in the index.js. There's the switch case. It's matching correctly. You must have a
The
misspelling
index what?
here, right?
There you can.
Are you matching correctly this?
Oh.
No,
Yeah, I
you
mean-
don't need to match it. Maybe he doesn't. Did you make a about page about HTML?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you need to match it.
To match what?
Wait, so what you write here? What you write here? Oops, sorry.
Oh, so I don't have to write the same word about. I mean.
So what if you write this about here?
Yeah.
It will match. It will match the about here.
So I have to have another name. on
No,
the-
no,
on
no.
the-
No,
on
no,
the,
this is,
response end.
No. This is gonna be about as this. So if you write about here, it will match this about.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So this is the file you're running, right?
But if I want to push on the link and send me to the about,
Yeah, but how did you write the link? Did you write like this?
yeah,
If you
definitely.
write npm start, which file is?
That HTML.
No, without HTML.
I did it before. It doesn't work anyway.
No, there is no HTML
Now
anymore.
there is the question. I know what is this, but what is this?
Now can you check this?
Okay, well, it's this.
That's
It's
yes.
here I write.
Exactly.
Okay, about. Okay, I got it. Oh, no,
No, yeah.
It's working now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if you want.
Yeah.
That is
It's working.
the match. That is you get it by reading
Go
this
back to the email.
because that comes in the request header. So if you go back in the code
I thought it was.
and you read it here, raku.url.
Yes.
There you read it there, and you chaining this so you can check both method and URL. That's why I do this because I can check everything in one.
Okay, is there any method that I can understand what kind of I don't know pages he has? Maybe, for example, a website has some pages and it's hidden, and you don't know if they
Oh.
have. Is it any way that I can find this word?
No, I think there are tools for scan and try to figure it out. But if you don't have a sitemap, you need to guess it.
Okay. Yes.
Which one?
192.168.
190.
No, the part number.
192.
Yeah.
168. 1130.
Is it necessary to write a function here,
Yeah.
or we can delete it?
90 what?
96.
You can if you want to get rid of that, you need to write this.
192.
Arrow function.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, this is the index page.
Yes.
About
About
the
me. Index.
so you get, let me try
This is the
Method
But-
URL.
But what is the address?
Hold on, look at this, look at this. Stop, look.
This is the URL. Okay.
Yep. You wanna?
Yeah.
What's the bottom?
Sorry, 961. 9615.
So, and how do you get this number? This,
This is I wrote in my IF config. This is my own IP address.
okay.
So you have
Oh.
So,
to find it in your command.
I'm just figuring one thing out for you.
Yeah, I can do that.
like if you write localhost, doesn't work for you?
Oh, saya but it's with this one.
Yeah, try to.
Oh.
You study electronic engineering, yes? First, at the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, electronic, then telecommunication, but then I decided to stick with software.
I study electronic engineering.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So it should be localhost. So for your case,
You like it or?
probably
No, I don't.
project. Can you help
I
me
like
to
to
see
be an
how-
architect. No, we can not electronic engineer.
Element up undefined.
You have installed the entrance.
This one default is not X.
And where we can read more about the different
We're
method.
using this contact list.
It's using this. This is interesting. Because I want to give you an exercise, which would use this one. Okay. Then I can do this. And
Actually, you don't need to write that column or the go before you have
okay, guys.
Now index and arrow index now.
It's in this.
So it should work. Did
In all the files, it's in this.
but I think there is something. Okay, go and go to the browser.
Yeah.
Why you are going there? Just open this browser. And right here,
So the source
Right
of
there.
that is only this one.
local, yeah.
The HTTP.
No, you didn't need to delete that part. Just sorry, local house save. Space 96 15. No. Go here again and write it again.
Okay.
And this time make the
Okay, this is good.
okay here. Yeah. Oh, stupid. No, you don't Google it. Oh, okay, did you see it was a blue?
Okay, we don't, guys. We don't have much time.
Right.
Local
Local house? No. Right, local house. Yes, here is blue. Okay, right here. Right again. Local house, space. Yes.
Cos'è 93 15?
No,
Cosa?
90.
Sì.
15, don't enter. 15. 15, yeah. Oh, come here. Oh, yeah. Refresh again. No. Right again. Yeah. Refresh again. Okay, just wait. Why it's like this?
Okay, guys. If we work a little bit more, we can actually align with the weeks, and then I can give you some more works. And we have 3 minutes. Okay. So, sorry. Obviously, you are welcome to carry on working afterwards, but just I need to finish a few things. So we laid down a very basic HTML and JSON HTTP API server. So basically a server that can both serve HTML and JSON. And we didn't use any dependencies. Is that correct? If we didn't use any dependencies. We used the core modules of Node.
Yeah.
We used the file system for read files from our disk, and then we used HTTP to actually create a server and file requests and blah, blah, blah. This is a perfectly valid approach. I'm going to repeat it. It's a perfectly valid approach, but it's time consuming. For make things work properly and consistently, it will take longer time. So what people did in the past and keep doing it is frameworks. So frameworks is a set of techniques already glued for you to make your life easier. So it's already structured, and if you follow the rules, you can be more productive in less time. So even if this is a perfectly valid solution, this will work. There are a lot of quirks that you can, like security quirks and other stuff that you can, they can play against you if you take this approach. If we go back to the slide, and the framework we're going to use is Express. And Express looks like this. I just want to show you, and we don't write any code, just want to show you how it looks like. So you create, require Express. This is going to be an import for us. You create an app, and then you can do app.get and the URL. So it's quite similar to what we did before. We had a switch case. Now you're going to do app.get, and this will be basically a method. So get this, it will return my index.html file, and so on and so forth. And we're going to do the same for API. And then when you listen, you can console log something. It's really, really simple. It is more simple than what we did. But because it's simpler than what we did, we're going to do more. So I'm going to show you that with the knowledge that now you have, and with the ease of Express, we're going to build a full feature Express server, an API server with our contact list class that we already have in place. So that's where we start week 5, yeah? We are good now. I'm going to write homeworks on Slack. But please have a look at the node scaffolder and all those things. Make that very comfortable for yourself.